27 out of top 30 cities in America in crime ran by Democrats. Why?
First, I will tell you.
Tell us.
First of all,
how's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Roland Martin appearing on the Valuetainment podcast alongside Patrick Bet-David. Now, Roland Martin, if you don't know, is a stone cold down leftist. He's a big Bernie bro, a Hillary bro, a Joe Biden bro. He hates Donald Trump, orange man bad, all this, that, and the third. If you're a conservative Republican, he pretty much hates your guts. That's Roland Martin, all right? Now, Patrick Bet-David is kind of more of a libertarian on the conservative side. So they're going to have opposing views on issues like this. Now, a question was asked of Roland Martin and by Patrick Bet-David. He's like, hey, why is it that the majority of the crime-ridden cities in America are run by Democrats? And not just the majority, but out of 30, you have 27 of these top 30 crime-ridden cities are run by Democrats. Why, Roland Martin? Can you answer that? Now, before we get into the answer, let's roll the clip. And, of course, this will be in the description. We'll get through the beginning of this. It's a pretty long clip, about a half hour. Let's get through the beginning of it, and then I give my opinion about it at certain particular points in about a 2 or 3 minute section. Let's go ahead and roll it.
27 out of top 30 cities in America in crime ran by Democrats. Why?
First, I will tell you. First of all, it's where African Americans are living. So let's bring up Chicago in particular. What you have had in Chicago is you have had some of the greatest racial segregation, not in 20 years, not in 30 years, but literally in 100 plus years.
Led by Democrats.
Hold on. Here's the deal, though. Okay.
Led by Democrats, exactly. So if you're going to blame segregation and housing and whatnot, then who's been behind that whole situation? Has it been Republicans? Like, what's going on?
I will show you how Mississippi has the largest percentage of black people in America, run by Republicans, broke as hell.
See, you just went to a whole different issue. See, he's talking about the cities. You can have a blue city in the red state. So let's not conflate issues. You're talking about Mississippi being broke. But the question, you spoke about Chicago. Chicago is at Mississippi. People left Mississippi to go to Chicago. Okay, so let's not even do that. But just being broke does not cause crime, because when you leave the Democratic city, Mississippi, you're not really having the same kind of crime you have in the Democratic cities. Okay, and the Democratic cities in the red state like Mississippi are nowhere near the level of depravity of what's going on right now in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, etc.
Explain that. Explain me the highest. Tell me when you have. Hold on. Wait.
Don't spin.
No, I'm not spinning.
No, don't.
No. What I'm
Let's
showing
stay
you.
on topic.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on.
Let's stay on topic.
We're
the
on
topic
topic.
is crime 27 out of 30, not economic. Economic is a different story.
No, it's not.
But I agree with you that we need to get the financial.
It's a different story. Yes, it is, because you guys may or may not know, I was born in a little small place called West Virginia, right? You're talking about one of the poorest states in the entire union. Very poor. The crime is not high, though. So you can't just say economics and crime go hand in hand. That's not necessarily the case.
Situation.
No. And you're making the mistake.
You went to Mississippi. No, you're making the mistake.
No. Here's the mistake you're making.
27 out of 30.
Here's the mistake you're making. When you say crime, I just obliterated a black conservative in my show on this whole issue.
Okay.
When you say crime, you have to then say, okay, what creates crime? No, what creates crime?
If you ask me the question, what creates crime? It's criminals, lawless behavior, gang organizations. He probably want to say it's the economics, but it's not necessarily the case, because you don't have that same level of crime everywhere. Criminals are going to go to places like, let's say, for example, you have an LA, right? Now, you're going to have organizations that make money off of crime. You're going to have people that take advantage of people, because it's like an industry to get involved in. You want to go to a city where there's a lot of people you can take advantage of. It's not just because it's economics going on, it's poverty going on. That's not necessarily the case. You're talking about drug selling, dope boys, that's one thing. We're talking about violent crime, kidnapping, and like shootings, and that's not a poverty-based thing necessarily.
creates crime?
When people are not doing well financially,
What else?
your surrounding and environment, who you're around.
No, what else?
Pick up habits.
What else?
Bad policies.
No. What else? See, you know.
Why say no? He's giving you things. Bad policy is one of the biggest things. We'll get to that in a moment.
You're jumping to policies.
But it is bad policy. Wait a minute.
No.
If I lead a company,
No.
Roland,
The underpinning. Hold on, wait.
If I run a company and I'm the CEO of the company, if the company improves or doesn't improve is based on my policies. I'm the head running the company, the department. If it doesn't improve, it's because of me.
So let me.
What else would it be?
So let me lay it out to you again.
Go for it.
When you talk about what is the underpinning of crime, John Hope Bryant, founder of Operation Hope, this is what he said. He said, show me a community where you've seen a riot with a credit score of 700 or higher. The reality is when you talk about crime.
The riots, like that's not even a good example because, especially lately, a lot of these riots are from outside people. Just like what happened in Atlanta recently. There was a riot of sorts downtown. Nobody that was involved in the riot was even from Georgia. I think it might have been one guy out of the whole bunch. He was from Decatur. Not even like nobody that was from there lived there. They were all out of towners. So I don't even understand what you're saying. That doesn't make any sense. And then quite frankly, a lot of the riots lately are happening in the more populated, richer areas. You want to live right there downtown where all these nice, big, fancy hotels and shops are at. How much is that going to cost? Okay, that's not going to be very affordable to live now, is it? So yes, you will see a riot in a place with a 700 credit score because the people that are involved in the riot don't even live there. They're not even from that particular state, let alone the city.
I'm in this country. You're talking about economics. You're talking about education. You're talking about housing. You're talking about health. Mm-hmm. Show me areas where you do not have high crime. I'm going to show you areas that don't have the same, aren't as compacted. That's first.
So you're talking about compacted areas, you're talking about high density areas. Now, of course, a city is going to have more crime than a smaller area. Like I said earlier, more crimes of opportunity, more opportunity for criminal organizations to flourish because of the amount of victims. And if you're selling drugs, the amount of customers, that kind of stuff, of course. But the level of crime, see, you got to look at cities. They're going to have more crime in general, but then look at the level of crime, the types of crimes, and what happens as a result. What's going on with the guys that are getting arrested over and over again? Are they really going to the penitentiary? Are they serving time? Ask those questions. Then we get a better picture of why a city like Philadelphia, like New York, like Los Angeles, like San Francisco, we get an idea of why they're suffering from so much crime. It comes down to the policies of that particular place. Another example right quick. A small one. In LA, there's an issue with homelessness and some of the trash they leave. And I think in LA County, not necessarily the city, but LA County, one of the cities has rules against placing your trash up under a bridge, and the other city does not. So there's a boundary in between these two cities under a bridge. Like the boundary is literally like a road. One side of the road is under a bridge. It's totally filthy, completely dirty. The other side is clean. Why? Policy. And that's a very small example of how policy will improve a place or will degrade a place. Very simple.
What you have is when you talk about crime in places, you then look at what are the numbers of people there? What are the pockets there? What are those communities? And how did those communities, how were they created literally not over 20, 30 years, but literally over 50, 75, 100 years? Now, that was Jim Crow.
How many years does it take to change?
What are you talking about?
How many years does it take to create change?
When you have...
Roland,
that's a good question. You should answer the question, Roland.
How long does it take to create change?
When you... First of all, you're talking about a black in America.
How long did
not answering the question. He's very good at that. He's very good at just talking loud and being expressive, but not really answering questions.
When you have had, walk through 243 years of slavery, 92 years of Jim Crow, and then you get to 1970 when you are technically fully free, you can't act like all of that before did not impact.
Now, I hate this argument because you're talking about slavery, Jim Crow, Reconstruction. You're talking about all that stuff that happened after slavery up until the 1970s. But if that's the reason why things in the black community, cities or whatever are so bad, then why are these communities regressing? You guys are in charge, Democratic Party, people that you say go out there and vote for. You got on stage and danced with Hillary Clinton. You did that, Roland Martin. These are your people, and they've been in charge since before the 1970s in these cities. So why do we see things getting worse? Why do we see things getting worse? If things were getting better incrementally, little by little, then I would say, okay, what you guys are doing is working. But I don't see things getting better. I see you guys allowing drugs to happen, allowing crimes to happen, giving these young 15-year-old dope boys slaps on the wrist, because if you give them a proper prison sentence and it's racist and you're trying to stop Black Boy, Joy, all this and that and the third, you need to be locking these boys up, okay, and get tougher on crime, because if you're not tough on crime, all you're going to have is an opportunity for criminal organizations, criminal individual actors to terrorize, to continue to plunder these communities. That's why the crime rate is so high in these Democrat-run cities. It's not really hard to understand. Yes, you're going to have a higher level of crime in a city, but the level of crime, the level of violence, level of depravity and whatnot is going to be a direct result of your policy. Now, there's more to that. Of course, I will link to it in the box. We really didn't get through too much of it right there. But I just wanted to make a point as I close. I'm going to say this. It's policy, really. That's the main thing. If you don't have good policy in the place, you just allow stuff to happen. Like you see all the time, you got these young boys, they get locked up. They get out the same day. New York's dealing with that right now, the whole defund the police. And they got into that in that particular podcast as well. He wanted to kind of try to deny it, talking about, oh, it was activists and they're not really partisan. It's BS. Okay, the left hitched their wagons to the whole defund the police thing. Then they want to act like it doesn't have a real impact. But when you reduce the police, you're going to have more crime in the area because there's less of a deterrent. There's less ability to get guys caught and then locked up and staying behind bars. It all works together. When you have bad policies that favor the criminals and hurt the everyday law-abiding citizen, you're going to have more crime, and it's going to be an overall heightened level of danger. It's very simple, Roland, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what Roland Martin and Patrick Bet-David were saying here in the short clip I showed you about why crime happens in a lot of these cities? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. At a certain point, personal responsibility on these young, ridiculous dope boys, and also the local governments. If you got a guy that has been arrested 85 times over the past 2 years, at a certain point, it's like, okay, should he be behind bars for a little bit longer, maybe? Because you know, if he gets out, you're going to do the same thing over and over again. There's a very high recidivism rate in these communities. You got the same handful of guys doing the same crime over and over again. It's not everybody doing it. Lock those guys up. Get them out the way. If there's poverty there, let people just try to build themselves up. When you just allow the criminality to happen, that poverty and that condition will never really change. It's always going to be there, and you're going to have them or those in the community be preyed upon constantly by those who are committing the violent acts. It's not rocket science. It's very easy to understand. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.